Namaste, welcome all. Now, Binduji has kindly consented to take the Upanishad series. This is the second session on Mandukya Upanishad. As we all know, the Mandukya Upanishad is found in the Atharva Veda. It is one of the shortest Upanishads. It's having only 12 verses or mantras. But Gaudapada, the teacher of Govindapada, who was the Shankara's teacher, who wrote Karika, an auxiliary work on the Upanishad. It's a most wonderful piece of literature. Now, Binduji is explaining each and every mantra, and as suggested by Binduji, yes, we will follow the same tradition that how Sri Shankara has taken it up with the perfect blending of that Karika and the Upanishad mantras. I request Bindoji to continue with the session. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jadavedi. Om Namo Brahmadibhyo Brahma Vidya Sampradaya Kartribhyo Pancha Rishibhyo Mahadbhyo Gurubhyaha Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashikritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Veda Vivagine Yomavat Vyapta Dehaya Vikshna Murtaye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैः तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्ताक्षो अरिष्टनेमि स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्ददातु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now can I request Nitya to say the Mangala Slokas?
प्रज्ञानां शुप्रदानैः स्थिरचरनिकरव्याप्तिभिर्व्याप्य लोकान् उक्त्वा भोगान् स्थविष्ठान् पुनरपि धिषणोद्भासितान् कामजन्यान् पीत्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् स्वपिति मधुरभुं मायया भोजयन्नो माया सङ्ख्यातुरीयम् परमममृतमजं ब्रह्म यत्तन्नतोऽस्मि यो विश्वात्मा विधिजविषयान् प्राश्य भोगान् स्थविष्ठान् पश्चाच्चान्यान् स्वमतिविभवान् ज्योतिषाः स्वेन सूक्ष्मान् सर्वान् एतान् पुनरपि शनैः स्वात्मनि स्थापयित्वा हित्वा सर्वान् विशेषान् विगतगुणगणः आत्मसौ न तुरीयः जागृदादित्रयोन्मुक्तम् जागृदादिमयं तथा ओङ्कारैकसुसंवेद्यम् यत्पदं तन्नमाम्यहम् ॐ
Thank you, Nitya. So we have been trying to understand the mantras of Mandukya Upanishad 1 and 2 in the last session. I will repeat the mantras. Omityetadaksharamidam sarvam tasyopapyakhyanam bhutam bhavad bhavishyaditi sarvam onkara eva. Yachanyat trikaladin tat onkara eva. Sarvam hyetat brahma ayamatma brahma sayamatma chatushpad. These are the two mantras we have gone through in the last class. Just to recollect, the first mantra says that all this itam sarvam aksharam om ityetat. All these are indestructible and is represented by the one word om ityetat aksharam. And the upakhyanam means clear disposition or clear commentary, explanation, tasya, which is that is bhutam bhavat bhavishyat iti sarvam. The past, present and the future. In past, present and future, whatever the names which comes in the mind, both known and unknown, all of them are included in the word om because all alphabets fall within the akara and makara, that is a and ma, which is the beginning and the end of the om alphabet. And not only that, there is a silence after that before the next om is being uttered. So what it says that yacha anyat trikaladidam tadapi onkara eva. Even though there is no utterance of the word om in that silence, even that silence is part of the onkara. Now here also we have to understand that the silence is mandatory for a sound to come. Without the background of the silence, no sound can prop up. Just as we need a screen for a projection, we need a substratum for, adhara, adheya bhava means the supporting and the supported. These are the conditions in which it is there. So trikaladidam yat, what is beyond the past, present and the future, even that is part of Omkara, because Omkara by past, present and future is the division of the time before the time itself came into existence. So the substratum from where the time, space, everything comes also becomes part of the Omkara, because that cannot be brought into the Omkara as the alphabet, but it is the absence of the utterance of the word. That's what is called the amatra in the technical sense. So all these things mean there is nothing excluded from the word Omkara, and therefore Sarvam hi etat Brahma. All these things which is in the present, past, present and future, all of them are Brahma, represented by the word Om. Sarvam hi etat Brahma. I am Atma Brahma. Here is the importance. I am Atma Brahma. The Upanishad is touching yourself and telling this Atma is Brahma. That means each one of us, Atma means self or the individual, not the egoistic individual, but the individual, the Jiva or the Atma. I am Atma Brahma because we are not outside the Omkara of Bhutam Bhavat Bhavishyat, past, present and future, and the Trikaladita. So we are one of that, inside one of that. Therefore, I am Atma, we are also part of that Brahma. So this is that one which we should always keep it, is that when Upanishad is talking about Atma Brahma, we have to have a crystal clear understanding in our mind. The Upanishad is talking not about a third object being indicated by the words which stands for like Brahma or Atma. The word Brahma and Atma are interchangeable when it is used, when it is being experienced or when it is related to a particular, then it is called Atma. When it is in the macrocosm or the totality, it is called Brahma. The totality includes the particular also. Therefore, it is not separate from that. So when it is says I am Atma Brahma, we should always keep it in mind. The Upanishad is talking to us about our reality. If we are this aspect of understanding is called Swamshikaranam, means becoming the knowledge. See, there are two ways of knowing things. One is knowing it as a information or a details about an object. But then there is some other knowledge becomes part and parcel of, we become the knower, not only the knower of the knowledge becomes part and parcel of our being. That is what is called Swamshikaranam in Sanskrit. Swamshikaranam means Swa Amsham. It is that part and parcel of the individual who listens to the knowledge. He becomes not only the knower of the knowledge becomes part of his. This is such a word where when the Upanishad say that I am Atma Brahma. And then what it says is further is I am Atma Chatushpad. Soyam Atma Chatushpad. Sa I am Atma. This, that Atma, this Saha, that I am means this, touching our physical body. The Upanishad say that Atma which I was referring, which is Bhudam Bhavishyat, and touching us, the Upanishad said, I am Atma, you should be understood by Chatushpad, having four aspects or four ways in which is. Now, Shankaracharya gives a beautiful explanation of the word Chatushpad in his commentary. What is he says that even though it is supposed to be of four padas, means four quarters, which is thing, the word pada has got a very specific meaning in Sanskrit. Now, in the Sanskrit, they are called gatyartha dhatu, means to indicate movement or reaching, going, etc. These are all called gamana kriya. That gamana kriya, whatever the words are, they have also a meaning called knowing. Knowing is being in Sanskrit. Therefore, you are becoming means you are going into that state is indicated by the word, the gamana kriya. So the word padyate or pad dhatu has got the both meanings. So what it says, Shankaracharya says is that by reaching, using the four quarters, you are reaching Turiya. That here it is by movement, the Gamana Kriya, or the moving towards Turiya using the four quarters by analysis. Or then there are two things by which we are also achieving that. That here the four pada mean the four aspects are instrument for us to understand the Turiya or the fourth one, or not the fourth one, the Turiya, the indicated fourth. It is not fourth per se, per separate. And it is also the one which is to be reached. So both the word meanings are included in the word Chatushpad. Fourth, instrumental to reach the goal, or the fourth which is reached by the word fourth also. In either way, both we analyze the word, the Chatushpad word has got that meaning that it is instrumental as well as it is the objective. for reaching it. So this being the case, now the question comes, what are the four padas which the Upanishad is talking about? A Chatushpad, a Soyamatma Chatushpad. So when you have not understood that Ayamatma Brahma, then the word Soyamatma Chatushpad comes into relevance for it, because you said I am Brahman. But how do I know that I am Brahman? Because I have my feeling that I am the individual restricted by limitations, and the Brahma, as per what I have studied in my scriptures, is that Sarvam. There is nothing outside Brahma. So how this minuscule, individualistic, small being be the same as the whole, which is thing, to make us understand that the Upanishad uses our own experience. Because anything else, we will never understand it in its totality. This is the word where that I use the word Swamshikaranam, or being that is the only way to know anything. So the Upanishad wants us to understand that that is what you are trying to achieve is the very you. You don't have to become that. But you are not knowing that you are that. So let me analyze, dissect your experiences, and prove it to you that you are that. Tadattvamasi. And when that knowledge dawns on us, without any doubt or confusion or ignorance or any of that sort of impediments and dirt in our understanding, then that knowledge shines within us as Aham Brahmasmi. That is Anubhava Jnana. To make us understand that the only way the Upanishad can take us is our own experience of states which we go through, Jagrat, Swapna, Surshupti. To that, the first pada is being told as Jagrat, or the waking. Jagrat means waking state. So the mantra says that Jagaridasthano Bahishpratnyaha Saptanga Ekona Vimshati Mukha Stulabhuk Vaishwanara Pradama Padaha. This is the third mantra. Jagaridasthanaha, the one which has got identification with waking. Sthanaha doesn't mean the location. It has a meaning of location, but in the Upanishad here the word Jagaridasthana is the one which is identified with the Jagrat. So the one which is identified Jagrat is called a Jagaridasthanaha, and he is a Bahishpratnyaha. Bahishpratnyaha, Bahi means outward. Pratnya means experience or awareness or knowing. These words can be interchangeably used. So in the waking, our awareness and all the attention is outward, Bahi. What does the Bahishpratnya means? Here is what we should remember, the Kathopanishad mantra, where it is said that our indriyas are paranchikani vyatranat swayambu tasmat parang pasyati na andaratman paschidiraha avritta chakshu amrutatvamichan pratyagatmanamichan. If you remember that Kathopanishad mantra, the sense organs in the body, whether it is organs of perception or organs of action, it can only interact with the world outside. That is why it is called Bahipratnya. We can see objects outside, we can hear from outside sound, all the sense organs and activity also. The activities are all outside. We are doing that with the external objects. So that is why it is called a Bahipratnya. The Pratnya, or the knowing or understanding or interaction with the external objects. Now that is being told as Saptanga Ekona Vimshati Mukha. There are two aspects of it. Saptanga means 7 angas. Now, to the 7 angas part, I will come later. Ekona Vimshati Mukaha means 19 interactive spaces or spots. Now, this 19, Eka Unati Vimsha. Vimsha means 20, Una means short, Eka means 1. 1 short of 20 is 19. Mukaha means it is that location of interaction. We will use the word Mukha again in the 6th mantra, which will be required at that time to understand much more. So, Mukha means it is an orifice through which we eat and speak. So, what that interacts, both inward and outward movement happens through those orifices or the spots, you can call it as Mukha. And we have 19 of them in our physical body. What are they? Pancha Indriyas, the 5 sense organs of perception. Sabda, Sparsha, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha. These are the 5 senses we sense through our sense organs of perception. Sound, touch, smell, like that 5 of them. Pancha Karmendriyani. There are 5 organs of action. And then Pancha Prana. Prana, Apana, Samana, Vyana, Udana. All the Pancha Prana. So 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15 ho gaya. 15 happen. These 15s are organs or the interfaces with which we are experiencing things in the body. Not only that, there are 4 more aspects of it. Mana, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta. Of the inner entity. Beyond that, it is only the Chaitanya or the Atma. So for the Atma to interact with the world outside, it uses the Mano, Buddhi, Ahankara, Chitta and the Pancha Prana, Pancha Karmendriya and Pancha Jnanendriya. All those 19s are the instruments for interaction in the outside world for the Jagarita Sthana, the identifier with the waking, whom we call it as waker. The waker uses these 19 tools for his interaction with the world outside. And what then he is called as Sthula book. Sthula book means gross, where solid, this thing, length, measure, everything. It is physical or material in nature. Therefore, it is called Sthula book. Book means one who enjoys. Grossness of the objects are being enjoyed by these sense organs and the karmendriya and prana and etc. All of those things are using the grosser aspects of the world. And he is called Vaishwanara. Vaishwanara means one who directs all these 19 things. If you remember the shloka from the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Aham Vaishwanaro Bhutva Praninam Deham Ashritaha. So that what is being reflected from this mantra. This Vaishwanara is that Chaitanya when residing through a individual body using the 19 tools interacts with the world outside. That is called the Vaishwanara. And that is the Pradama Pada. That is the first quarter of the total, or the total pound and quarter shilling, which I told you in the last class. Remember that. This is only 1/4 of that experiences. Now, what is the Saptanga? The Saptanga is actually speaking to the macrocosm. Now, the 19 tools and everything is for the microcosm, for the individual aspect. The Saptanga is that of the whole cosmos or the cosmic creator, the Vishwarupa or the Vishwa, that which is called the Virat in the technical term is called a Virat. How does he, why is it, how is it having 7? Murda stage of that his hair, the head or the top portion is in the Dvuloka. And Chakshur Vishwarupa, the eyes are in the form of the one which is grasping or light, enlightening everything. Prana Pradak Atma. Then the prana is there with which the pulsation happens. So what happens is that if you look at it in a totality of the thing, we only know space and what earth or our interactive world is that. Now, as per in the one of the, out of that, the seventh one, out of the one of the seventh one is the space, which is represented by the chest of the Virat. So, Murda is Dulokam, that is beyond what there is a loka which we cannot even imagine. Only Shruti eva pramanam, that is only for the Shruti is the pramanam for it. Then Chakshu is the instrument of that Virat. It is not the eyes of the human being, but representing that the way in which he knows everything. He, by becoming everything, he knows everything. So his Chakshu is in the Vishwarupa. That means in the Vishwarupa, in the total Rupa of the cosmos itself is his eyes. Then the Surya, no, Prana is the one which is that Sanchara Marga, through which it is moving in his own creation. Or he pulsates in his creation. That is the best way to explain it. The middle portion or the thoracic portion of that cosmic entity is called the space, which we know as infinite for us. Because for us, the space is visible universe. Beyond the invisible universe, everything comes under within the space. So that is only his thoracic portion. Then he has his abdominal area and his feet, which is supposed to be representing the supporting system. So all these five, plus the heat, that is what called Ahavani Yagni, which is the energy with which the whole creation is supported and alive. So like that, the Upanishad gives a picture of a Virat Swarupa. If you want to imagine, you can imagine as a human being. But if you don't want to imagine as a human being, you can imagine as a cosmic entity. Like the 11th, in the Bhagavad Gita, Vishwarupam, where the Arjuna and Krishna, that if you want to think that, you can do that. But basically what it is happening is, Upanishad is wanting to understand that the whole possible entity which you can think with all your imagination, from Dvuloka to Prithvi, from the supporting sort to the highest realm of being, and in between, all of them are that Virat. That Virat and this Vaishvanara, which is functioning through my body, both are not separate. That is the one pada. Because when you imagine yourself as a cosmic being, with your top, the head and above is the higher realms of experience. Your eyes are the one which is giving you the light and the experience of the whole world. And your thoracic area is where the prana and the whole pulsation is happening, like the heart beating, etc. And then the abdominal area is where the liquid and the movements are required for life supporting systems are working, and the feet is the supporting system, which is that. This is how the Vaishwanara and Vishwa are compared in the Upanishad in this mantra. Both the Virat and the Vaishwanara are, one is a macrocosm, one is a microcosm. What is there in the microcosm is exactly what is in the macrocosm. The water in a molecule of water is in no way different from the water in the entire idea we can keep, whether it is an ocean or everywhere put together. The entire water is not identically different or technically different from the molecule of water which we can analyze. In all the quality, the possibility, everything, every quality you can find from the atom, the molecule of water to the everything. Same way, everything. That is why even in when we do a DNA analysis, you can say about that the individual. This all those when the microcosm and the macrocosm, these type of comparison is being used by the Upanishad to explain to us when I am Atma Brahma, when it is saying that you should keep this in mind. Now, we are not only an entity of the waking, even though all our transaction, understanding, knowledge, etc., everything is in the waking. Waking is forming only one pada or one quarter of that, our totality of experience. We have the three more to understand what is to become to Chatushpad, to the fourth realm of the fourth or the Turiya. For that, we should know first the known area is why introduced by the Upanishad as because in dream he cannot give this much of detailed description like that of a waking, because anybody can relate to the waking experiences and the instruments of the waking. So he takes up the Upanishad takes up the first part as the waking, and then he brings in the dream in the next mantra. In the next mantra, what is saying that it is not different from the second mantra. It's no way it is different from the first pada. So second mantra, the second pada or the fourth mantra says that Swapnasthano Andaprajnaha Saptanga Ekona Vimshati Mukha Pravivikta Book Taijaso Didiya Pada. Now here there is only few differences. Jagaridasthana is the waking. Here it is Swapnasthana. Swapnasthana means the identifier with the dream. Swapna means dream. So Swapnasthana means it is the identifier with the dream which is there, and his prajna is andaprajna. He is not interacting with the world of objects outside. He has an entire world of objects within himself. So Antaprajna means his interaction with the 19 tools of his own interaction is functional inside his own knowledge sphere of the Antaprajna. Here also the Saptanga and Ekona Vimshati Mukha is the same for this one. Here also, because if we really look into the comparison between the Jagrat Avastha and the Swapna Avastha, barring that there is a what you call concreteness or a solidity for the waking experience and lucidity for the Swapna Avastha. So that is why Sthula book is when it is used for the Jagrat. For the dream, the Upanishad uses Pravivikta book. Mean it is enjoying. Book means again enjoying or consuming. Pravivikta book. It is not Vivekta. It is Pravivikta, means very subtle or very subtle objects are there. We cannot deny the experience. Therefore, the objects are there. At the same time, it doesn't have the solidity or the grossness of the waking. So, Pravivikta book means the subtle objects of experience are felt by us in our dream state. And this dream state is dreaming and experiencing only inner world of experience. Therefore, his identification with the dreamer, which is called the Swapnasthanaha in the Upanishadic term. Swapnasthanaha means dreamer, Andapratnyaha means enjoyer of the inner world, with the same 7 for the macro and 21 for the 19 for the micro, enjoys the subtle, very, subtle objects, and he is called a Taijasa at the micro level. There's the micro level. Vaishwanara is called this thing. Here the micro level it is called the Taijasa. A corresponding the macro is called Hiranyagarbha. So we have Virat, Hiranyagarbha. We have Pratnya. We have a Vaishwanara and Taijasa for the dreamer and the sleeper. So now we have come almost consumed half of our experiences. These two experiences are the real experiences which we go through in every day. We have the waking, we have a dream, but we have also one more state of experience, which is the third experience, which is called the Sushupti. Now, Sushupti is, or the deep sleep is something which we cannot explain, because we are not in the position to explain what is deep sleep, because there our functions are not working. Neither the 19 interactive tools are working, nor if we are having the mind, intellect or anything there to function or understand or know, to explain what is happening there. So we have to listen to what the Upanishad says. Upanishad is telling us in a cryptic way, saying that Yatra supto na kanchanam kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pasyati tat sushuptam supshasnanaha eki bhutaha prajnana ghanaha eva anandamayaha ki anandabuk cheto mukaha prajnas tritiya padaha. Here what he says that supto kanchana kamam na kamayate, the one who is supta, yatra means where, in that state or in the third phase, the suptaha is called as, his name is called as supta. Na kanjana kamam kamayate. He has no desire of any sort. In the waking and the dream, we are propelled by desires. Janadi ichhati yatate. We come to know through our sense organs objects. We acquire knowledge, and with the knowledge, we are having a desire to function or desire to, possess the object or desire to interact with it. And then activity with the five organs of action are put into action to using that knowledge for interacting with the known object. These type of things are not happening in the deep sleep. Na kanchana kamam kamete. Not even an iota of desire is there in that state, in what is called the suptaha. Nor does he even have a subtlest of the desires of experiences. Na kanchana swapnam pasyati. It is not that he is dreaming there. No, even dream is not there. That state is called sushuptam. Now, in the Upanishad, the state of sushupti is taken as a big example, or the only example where we are there but nothing else is there. That ekatvam anupashyata, that is a word used in the Mandukya Upanishad. That oneness, yatra na dvitiyam asti, where there is nothing other than us. That experience is that is the state of Brahman, the I am Atma Brahma, that Brahma. That state we cannot imagine unless if he had not given the experience of Surshupti by the Creator. The very purpose of having this state is to know our reality. There is a phase with us where we don't need the waking, we don't need the dream. We are still alive. We know we exist. We don't need to toil upside down, get upset by the things in the waking or in the dream. Without this thing, we are the happiest in that time. Even a person who has amputated his leg or lost his limbs or having a severe pain of cancer or any sort of that, he doesn't go through any of his body pains or he doesn't even know he has a body. Therefore, he is called Anandamaya. And Anandamaya because, see, we have the knowledge of happiness only in the relative terms. The ups and downs of happiness is what we call sukha and dukkha. But we have no idea what is pure happiness. The state of pure happiness, we all of us are enjoying every time when we go to the deep sleep. And the people who cannot get a deep sleep, you can imagine they are the most, miserable people. They become, if they don't sleep for 3 days, they become lunatic. Because that much is the importance of the deep sleep. It is rejuvenating the entire body, mind, and intellect. And the examples given in the Upanishads are different things. One example is there where a bird is tied to his leg and left. The bird flies around to all directions, and after having tired flying around for a lot time, then he comes and sits back to the pole where he has been tied. Same way, the Atma, the Jivatma, the individuality goes to the waking dream, within the dream itself, another dream, or in the waking these a daydream. All those things we do it in the day, in the waking and dream hours. Tired out of that, we rest within ourselves. This resting place is where, when we remove every identity with ourselves, with the name, form, body, relationships, the world, the sun, the moon, the sickness, every aspect of our identity is kept outside, and we become pure awareness, prajnana ghana, and eki bodha, because there is no two to have that, say that it has become one, but by default it becomes eki bodha, because there is no two there in that state. Therefore, the Upanishad has to use the word eki bodha. Na dvitiyam asti is what Brihadaranya Upanishad says. So when you don't have the second one to the experience, no, it is, I always use that example of that. Imagine there had been no other planet but one sun type of a glowing globe with all brilliance is there. Still it will be dark everywhere, because the light cannot be seen unless it is reflected from some planet or something other than it. The same way, if we are in a prajnana ghana avastha, where we are the pure consciousness alone, we do not have any experience. This is why Atma Jnana is not an experience. When you are yourself, you don't experience yourself. Are Vijnadaram kena vijaniyat is the question which Yajnavalkya asks. How can the knower know himself? Because he is not separate from himself to know himself. Therefore, he is prajnana ghana, means Ghana means normally is when it is 100% that alone. Ayo Ghana means iron alone. Swarna Ghana means only gold. Like that, when it is 100% of something, we use the word Ghana. And here the Upanishad uses the word Prajnana Ghana. Prajnana means consciousness, awareness. We are aware. We can know anything at that place. But there should be something other than that to know. The potency for the Prajnana Ghana is so much, you have become one with the totality of the Prajna. But there is nothing other than you. Therefore, you cannot know anything. Eki Bhutaha, therefore. And because of that, Anandamaya. Because Upanishad itself says that, Idara mandaram gurude atatasya bayam bhavati. If you have even a speck to limit you, you are not limitless. You are not infinity. The speck is taking away some space and entity which will limit you. So you become infinity less that speck. But when even that speck is not there, idaram andaram gurude. Idaram andaram means even an iota of thing which is other than that is not there. Only such a place where you will feel that Anandagana or Anandamaya, Prajnanagana, all those things. And what is his state is called, whereas in the Sthula book is what is called Vaker, and Sushma book or Pravibhikta book in the dreamer's case. Here, Upanishad calls such an entity in the deep sleep is Ananda book. He is enjoying only Ananda. Because other than his own Swarupa, which is Satchitananda Rupa, that Rupa he cannot enjoy other than himself. Therefore, he Ananda book. But at the same time, Upanishad is giving like how it was said Chatushpad in the Ayamatma Chatushpad. Here also he is putting a word called Cheto Mukha. This is the word I said Mukha is important here. Cheto Mukha means it is that face or orifice or opening which he uses for his own projection to come to the waking or to go to the dream. When he is himself, he has nothing else, but he has the potency to become a waker, he has the potency to become a dreamer. For that purpose, the Upanishad calls him Cheto Mukha. Chaitanyam, from that word the Cheta is the word the Chetam. The face of the Chaitanya with which the waker is projected, the dreamer is projected. When I am saying waker is projected, the waker and the waking world, the dreamer, then the dreaming world. So all these things for it to project, it has the potency within itself. Therefore, he is called a Cheto Mukha, and his name is called Prajna. Now, Prajna is in the microcosm. The same Prajna in the cosmos or the macrocosm is called Ishvara. Ishvara is the one which is becoming Virat. He is the one, he is becoming Hiranyagarbha. And when the creation takes place, Akashad Vayu, Vayor Agni, Agnerapah, Adya Prithvi, Prithivya Raushadaya, Ushadevyo Annam, Annat Purushaha. The creation step by step is being explained in the Taittiriya Upanishad. There are many other places where the creation is being explained. But they say they're all Ishvara is the creator. Now, Ishvara is the creator in the same sense, in the Prajna, which is in the individual or the microcosm, it is that one which creates his own world. From his Prajna, his known world is propping up. The moment we wake up, the individuality that I am so and so and my world is so and so comes up for the waker. or if he is moving into the dream, he projects a dream world of his own choice from the memory, vasana, samskara. We will come to that later. His own unfulfilled desires of the waking, intermingled with imagination, is what is the dream world. So both has a potency to come only from where there is nothing. You can draw a painting when only on a plain canvas, or only on a white screen only you can project a movie. Same way, where there is nothing, when that nothing has the potency to project itself, then the waker comes, the dreamer comes. This is how then, and therefore this is called the Tridiya Padaha. This is the third quarter. We have to go to the fourth quarter later. So first we have to understand what is the first quarter, second quarter, the third quarter. Jagrata Avastha, Swapna Avastha, and this is called Sushupti Avastha, which is called the Supta. Tat Sushuptam. Sushupta Sthanam means identifier with the Sushupti. Sushupti is the deep sleep where we don't have any other experience. So when we are talking about the Upanishad is talking about, it is not talking about Tom, Dick and Harry or anybody else going through these experiences. Each and every one in every day we have this experience. So the Upanishads want us to analyze our own experience. What the Upanishad said is right or wrong, experiment it on ourselves. That Swamshigaranam means becoming the knowledge in yourself. This knowledge, what has been told by the Upanishad, is it right or wrong? Nobody other than you yourself can vouch for it. Experiment it on yourself, analyze it yourself. We will continue from the sixth mantra in the next class on Friday. So I'll stop here. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you all.